So what you been up to?
Just spending time with family and just chilling.
Mm. Cool. Your dad haven't been giving you a hard time, has he?
Nah, my parents are real cool.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I'm just like you, man. I'm just looking to transcend all of this, man. I pretty much, you and all my friends have the same conversations, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically about transcending our environments and just starting over and just start brand new in a way that we want to start brand new.
Yeah, because it seems like, with all due respect, it just seems like they way was kind of very superficial.
Right.
It's kind of raggedy and superficial, and it really don't have any substance. The substance is very stable. It's like there's no growth there.
Basically, what you're saying, and I know what you're saying, that there's a difference between security and freedom. People like us, we want freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a big difference. What makes most people happy doesn't make us happy. Because, like you said, there's little growth. And people like us are always about growth. That's all we talk about is growing, pretty much. If you listen to our conversations.
Yeah. Because I see people and hanging out at the beach and all of that, and I look at how long I've been living out here in Las Vegas, and going through these ups and downs for 30 years. I really never had a chance to really enjoy anything.
Yeah. I my own way I understand, because growing up in almost 30 or whatever. I'll be 29 next week on next Wednesday. On May 23rd, I'll be 29. But a lot of things that most people in their 20s or whatever get to do, I never got to do when it comes to friends and stuff. And it does get you, whatever. Because and I trust me, I tried or whatever. Things never stuck for me when it comes to people. In spite of the fact that we talk about this, man. People like us are the most loving and the best friends you can have, but that ain't been our experience when it comes to others. So it's like our life is a bit of a paradox,
Mm-hmm.
Or is that the right word, Dave? Or I know you know what I'm trying to say. It's like a paradox, like a contradiction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You the friendliest person in the world, but then it's like it's hard for you to keep friends a lot of times because you outgrow people, and that's the pain. That's the pain that we learn to understand until it's not painful no more.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back in high school, I remember especially on Fridays and Saturdays, I used to be real down and depressed a lot of times because I would hear about everybody else hanging out with their friends, doing this, doing that, and then it's like my friends, they would be flippy floppy, or I didn't have really friends like I wanted to, so it made me, frustrated, real sad,
Mm-hmm. Well, my friends, it's like once they started getting little girlfriends and stuff like that, that's when pretty much everybody kicked me to the curb.
Yeah, and that too. I'm like, of course I know, we have our women or whatever, and women have their men, but it's like, don't forget about your friends. I know a lot of people once I had a friend like that. We was still tight in 12th grade or whatever. Once he got with this girl, he pretty much kicked me and everybody else to the side. And I was like, I was real hurt by that back then. Like that. I know that's your girl or whatever, but it's like, don't forget about kicking it with the brothers or whatever. But you know how that is.
It just amazes me how those same people who were running around with the little girlfriends, they are so Christian now.
Right.
Because I guess they eventually found out that once you get yourself involved in that kind of activity at that early stage, you're heading for destruction. Because when you involve yourself in relationships, you might as well say, with your little girlfriend, it all feels so cute, and you got your little girlfriend, you walking down the street, you holding hands, you experimenting with sex and all of that, and then once you hit it a few times, and it changes you. You know, it makes you feel arrogant, makes you feel like you want to keep conquering and conquering and conquering. And then with that arrogance, next thing you know, you drinking, you doing drugs, you're doing all of these things to the point where you get at your age right now, you can't think for yourself.
Right.
Because you done destroyed your mind, you know, to the point where you can't think of yourself. So I might as well preach, or I might as well be a Christian, because that don't require any thinking. You know, and then they look at me and they see how open and wide my mind is, and all I get is a bunch of criticism. You know, and I tell everybody, I got this mind because I didn't get myself involved with those type of activities as early as you guys did.
Right.
You know, like I say, getting involved in those things that early. You're actually, what you're doing, you're going into an area that's really strictly for adult type experiences.
Right.
Because you ain't really supposed to be having no little girlfriends at 7th and 8th grade and going into high school. You know, your mind is supposed to be on education.
Yeah, you're supposed to be on them books, not on cookies.
Right. You know, so regardless of how bad and sad it felt not being popular with the women, it sure benefited me, because due to the fact that I wasn't getting involved with any females, I didn't have nothing left to do but study.
Yeah, same here or whatever. You know, it's like, it's kind of like being a late bloomer is a blessing in many ways.
Mhm. But tell you the truth, especially in your generation, being a late bloomer, whew, it's bad, because y'all don't have any choices. Y'all don't have any choices at all.
Yeah, and that's how sometimes I be like, dang, man. I'm like, man, sometimes I think about it. I'm like, man, I would love to go back in the past or whatever and find a woman, because these whores, man, and your son and my generations, man, these women are trash, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about that. And then now, you know, you can't tell them nothing. If you try to tell them something, they like, oh, you can't tell me nothing. I'm a strong woman. Mm-hmm. Or you a sexist or whatever. So it's like, man, I'm pretty sure you see or you hear your sons, or you talk to your sons, man. It's like, this generation is just gone crazy.
Yeah, it's dead.
At least you got the experience with at least you got to see women before they became totally corrupt. And I do remember a little bit when I was in elementary school, girls wasn't, like, they were still like somewhat normal and pure, man. But once like 7th, 8th grade happened, everything started to change. Yeah, but that was around, because I started 7th grade around like 2001 day. So I said after 2000, when everything started to like get corrupt, even with the music. Mhm.
Mhm. Because you know, in, you might as well say 7th and 8th grade, even the cheerleaders had an innocence to them.
Yeah.
Even going into high school, back in the day when I was going to high school, there was still some innocence there. And then the next thing you know, here come these white people with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. And that changed the whole game when it comes to cheerleaders. That changed the whole game. And just like our people have to outdo everybody all the time, now you got black cheerleaders out there twerking, and girls who are in 7th and 8th grade going to school with heels and carrying purses and wearing makeup and all this, got everything hanging all out. I'm like, but like I say, I saw this happening back in 75, and you know, and like I always say, I told my mother, I said, I saw a shift back in 75 when y'all wasn't doing nothing but going out to clubs, running the street, getting hot. I said, I knew some bad news was coming. I said, I could see it.
Right. in my generation, the generation that generation produced.
Yeah. And she said, well, how you figure you know? I said, Mom, did you ever have to come to juvie to get me off a gangbanger? She said, no. Did you ever have to come to jail? Did you have to worry about me doing anything? She said, no. I said, so what does that mean? That means I wasn't doing anything. And it also means by my not doing anything, what was I doing? I was looking at everything. I was looking at you. I was looking at Daddy. I was looking at my uncles. I was looking at my sister. I was looking at the degeneration of my friends. I was looking at all of that. Now, you could say you being self-righteous, you judge, and you can put whatever word you want to put on it. But you want to know something? Here it is 2018, and I was absolutely correct. When you know, you just know. And look at y'all. Y'all don't have any choices, Josh.
Yeah, it's tragic.
But you know, it's a trip because a lot of people are tripping out on this Donald Trump thing.
Oh yeah, that clown.
To me, what's most interesting about going through this Donald Trump is when Donald Trump is over, then what? That's what interests me. What is it going to be after this idiot? Because we pretty much already got him figured out. The man's an idiot.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about that yesterday. I'm like, man, I can't. I'm like, who? It's hard to imagine who gonna be in office after if there's another election after him. So I'm like, he didn't just totally ruined it.
Right, and that's what makes it very interesting because, like we just got through talking about, as time goes on, it gets worse. It gets worse, and white people are afraid right now because their birth rate is at zero now. At once, not a few years ago, it was at 1%, but now it is at zero. So it's like for one white person being born, 2 white people die now.
Yep, and that's the result of their wickedness.
Absolutely.
And I don't feel nothing. Not only do I not feel nothing, I'm like, oh, let it happen because y'all done ruined this planet.
It was a sister posting on the video that I had uploaded where it's got Gabrielle Union talking to Whoopi Goldberg and them on The View, and she was talking about how difficult it is to raise young black men in this country today. And this sister who got on my on that video, she wrote so many posts on there, but she was dead on point. She said they are dying and they know that they are dying. They know. And she was saying if it's one thing we have got to stop doing is trying to save every goddamn body. She said these black men, they got to stop laying up with these white women, keeping their seed going.
Yeah.
And she was saying that if there is ever a time for complete separation and segregation from them on the physical level, it is now. Separate yourself from them. Don't breed with them. Don't do anything with them. Just let them die. Just let them all die off.
I agree. And even though me and you ain't scripture quotes, in the Bible tell you, the Bible is for our people. It tell you, man, our people, most of the black men don't mix with these other races of women, especially like the white woman. But our people, we always, especially black men, want to have sex with them because they suck their penis and all that stuff. These Negroes. All that freaky stuff. Cause our people wasn't all that into that freaky sex until we learned it from white women and white men.
All that oral sex and all that. Yeah, your mouth ain't supposed to be down there. What the hell is your mom
Right.
doing down there?
Right. And don't forget anal. That's that's even more disgusting.
Yeah. What's going to be next?
Yeah, man. Well, now people talk about bestiality is becoming more and more legal now. So hey, I'm talking about here in America. So like, man, that pedophilia. I say the last thing, man, before this country really falls is pedophilia, and that's actually starting to become legal too. They lowering the age of consent more and more now.
And that's why R. Kelly ain't worried about nothing.
But they even Spotify and Apple took his music off. People are really coming down on R. Kelly now.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been hearing or whatever, but yeah, they really trying to get him because Spotify the other day took his music off their platform, and people petitioning Apple to remove all his stuff. I'm like, dang. And then his legal team, like a few weeks ago, they quit on him. His legal team. So I'm like, man, this dude, he gonna be the next Bill Cosby, and he way more guilty than Bill Cosby ever was.
Yeah. Yep. Because if I had a choice, let Bill go and lock this fool up.
Yeah.
Put him somewhere deep down in the galleys.
Yep.
And because I had downloaded that documentary that you have on R. Kelly, and how it shows his brothers and stuff like that, because if I was a judge, I'd put that fool under the prison, and I'd give all of his money to the victims of the families and all of his brothers.
Yep.
And I would write out a contract, some type of legality to his brothers that they cannot give him any financial support whatsoever. Any. Let that fool rot. Yep. But it trips me out to where even though these men are being brought down, it is always behind some pussy.
Yep, always.
Mike Tyson, Bill Cosby, him. It's always behind some pussy. Yep.
And the whole Me Too thing don't help.
What's that?
I said this whole Me Too crap don't help.
What is that?
The Me Too movement. Women talk about Me Too. Anytime a man they want to accuse him of something, Me Too. And a lot of times, a lot of stuff don't even be true, but it ends up ruining a man's career just because you see how they did Travis Smiley.
Oh yeah, he was accused of sexual harassment too, wasn't he?
Yeah, and they took him off the air. And the thing was, it was consensual from what I gathered.
It usually always is.
But women, man, they can cry wolf, and all they gotta do is accuse you of something. You can lose your livelihood, and it's sad. I mean, I know men do a lot of crazy stuff to women. We ain't justifying that, but when they ain't doing it, a man shouldn't be. People shouldn't throw him down the river, man, just because a woman opened her mouth and complained about something. Because women are very vindictive, and I know you know, because you didn't told me stories about that.
Oh, plus, I created my very first page or group, you might as well say.
Oh, you on Facebook?
Yeah, it's called Love and Honor Them While They Are Here. And it's pretty much, I mean, me and you had this discussion plenty times of how we notice how people don't really start appreciating you until you on your way out, and then here they come with all this love and sometimes um, people need to understand that the same type of love that you have for them when they're almost gone, that's the same. That's the level of love and affection that you're supposed to have from them while they're still here. That's what's wrong with the world.
Right.
You know, but it just seems like this immense stature of love doesn't really come into expression until the person is gone. It's too late now.
Yeah, give them person their roses while they're alive, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Are you typing right now?
Yeah, I need to type down what I just said.
Okay. On your computer, do you ever listen to our conversations and type up certain things that me and you were saying?
No.
Okay.
It's just whenever we talking like this, and I don't know, my brain is kind of slow today because I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night.
Yeah, because of that, when you went to the interview?
No, I didn't go to the interview yet. They moved it up to Thursday.
Oh yeah.
It's just I've been feeling kind of down lately.
I remember you were telling me that the other last week when we were talking about,
because I wanna it's a lot of things I need to get done, and this is gonna cause a major setback. This is gonna put me back for a long time. So hopefully these Mexicans will let a brother work so I can make some goddamn money, because I'm sick and tired of this, man. I mean, it's gotten to the point to where when all of that is in my face, I don't want to show any type of, well, I ain't gonna let them see it get to me. I'm just gonna just shake their hand and leave. I'm done with that, man. I'm done with it.
You done with being fake?
I'm done with that. Now if I bump into this Thursday morning, I'm getting they spick asses told. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting them told. And all of this, well, sir, we're gonna have to ask you. Fuck you. I ain't going nowhere. I'll leave this bitch when I'm ready to leave it. Well, we're gonna call security. Well, you must don't care nothing about your security guards, because if anybody come in here and put their hands on me, I'm gonna lay them down. For real. Because if it's one thing that's very cold-hearted, is you trying to prevent a man from feeding himself and his family.
Right.
You don't do that.
Yeah, never mess with a man, his livelihood or his family.
You hiring people for their qualifications, not by way of their race. You walk in there, you done already set up and looked at all of my qualifications, but as soon as I walk in there, you see I'm black, your mind is all of a sudden made up. No, we ain't gonna hire him. I'm not stupid. I've dealt with that before when I was working at the Rio. They see my last name and they figure I'm Indian or something else. And so they have to sit there and pretend,
Right. Because people don't know how to figure you out based off the way you look. I know I've been treated that way all my life. That's why I guess I've had many good experiences with whites and other races, because they don't know how to really just place me.
Well, when they look at us, they still see black.
Well, yeah, I know. I never forget that either.
And they ain't gonna let you forget it either.
Right.
Because to them, if you're not white and if you ain't Mexican, they don't want to have nothing to do with you. But see, the distinction between whites and white people will hire you. They look at your qualifications. They say, well, I I don't too much care for these niggas, but he he does have qualifications, so I'll go ahead and hire him. I'll give him a chance. You know, but these Mexicans, oh no. I mean, he's got all the qualifications. He's got all the proper ID, but he's black, so we're not gonna hire him because he's black. And that's exactly the way they operate. And so if it is one thing that I do agree with Trump on, is getting their asses up out of this country. Because their asses is like a parasite. They like a poison. Once they get into a position of power, everything is contaminated. The whole thing is contaminated. You know, and like I said, you always got to bow your head. Well, okay, I hope I hear from him. Fuck that, man. I'm not doing none of that no more.
Right. Yeah, you know, even though I know you don't expect nothing from Mike, it would be nice if Mike could, if he was there, could pull some strings for you to get you hired, but I don't think he would, you know.
No, Mike is not effective in that area.
Oh, okay.
See, because when you're dealing with people out here in Las Vegas, you're dealing with a whole different breed of people. I mean, these people, they've been in the gaming business forever. You know, and they are descendants. They are descendants down to people who were cold. I'm talking about the type of people who told Dean Martin, when Dean Martin said, I want to cut my shows down from 3 shows a week to 1. The club owner said, get your stuff out of the locker and get the hell out of here.
Dang, that's cold.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with somebody of his talent.
Yeah, somebody of his talent and his stature. This is Dean Martin you talking to. But when you're dealing with people who has this gangster type mentality, and that gangster type mentality and attitude is passed on, and so Mike can't go nowhere and say, "Why'd you give him a job?" They're like, Mike, you just handle your business and we'll do ours.
That's cold.
See, celebrities out here don't mean nothing to these people. That's just like when Toni Braxton got sick when she was out here performing at the Flamingo. They voided her contract, paid her money, told her, get your ass up out of here.
Man.
See, it's us, it's the fans that are caught up in that image. But these people who are in the business, they don't care nothing about them folks. And to tell you the truth, one of the primary reasons why we are so caught up in the image is because when we look up to these people, it's we not only look up to them for their talent, but we know they got wealth.
Yeah. They kind of symbolize that they've made it, they beat the system in a way when we think of the wealth.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like you taught me years ago, and I definitely see now that most of these celebrities ain't all that rich either.
Mm-hmm.
So every day now you hear somebody going broke.
Yep. Because they get caught up like Martin. Martin got caught up in the whole Martin Lawrence thing, and he was doing movies and all of that. But dude, you what is that?
I'm up and out moving around.
Oh, you got the Martin show. You're still getting revenue for that. Fine. You're doing movies and all of that. Hey, that's beautiful. You're still doing stand-up. Fine. But do you really need a house $37 million?
No.
See, you got that house by way of when you was on top. Now, if you don't stay on top, then you're not going to still be making that on-top money in order to maintaining that $37 million house. Sooner or later, the same way your career is going to downgrade, you're going to have to downgrade home-wise as well. Had a basketball court in his house and all of that. People, oh, you just hating. You know that nigga thinking. Oh, you just hating. Yeah, that's why you broke, nigga. You know, that's like Lawrence Tate. All of the movies that he's been in, I seen him on the Breakfast Club, and he said, "I don't need no big old home like that and all of that." He said, "You know, me and my wife don't need all of that." They said, "If we don't need it, we ain't investing that kind of money. Private jets and all that. You don't need all that shit. They here with all that."
Yeah, that's hubris or ego all day.
Yeah, just to be able to say I got a private jet. Okay, fine. You pay for a private jet, and even if that jet is sitting there, you still have to pay for maintenance. You got to pay for storage. You got to pay the pilot whenever you want to go somewhere. Plus, you have to also pay for the pilots to test your plane, even when you ain't on it. You have to pay for all of that.
Yeah, then you got to pay. Don't forget, you got to pay for the fuel and all that crap too. And yeah. I bet you that jet fuel is more expensive than our regular fuel.
Yeah, you got to have insurance on it. You know, and there's no way around spending a whole lot of unnecessary money. You know, people say, well, if I had a private jet and if I was paying all that money every month to maintain it and everything, you know, with fuel and everything, that I would use it more often, right? And then using it more often, you're coming out your pocket even more often. So do you really need that? You know, all of that money that you are investing into a private jet, that could still be sitting up in your bank account.
Right.
And if you want to go someplace like to an event or something like that, then rent you a private jet. Just rent one. You know, if you're one of those celebrities where you don't want to be, you know, noticed a whole lot, and you know you just happen to be in one of those moves where you really don't want to come in contact with the public, just go ahead and rent you a jet. Just fly where you want to go and go on about your business. Pay them their fee and move on. Yep.
No, David. Oh yeah, you never talked about that. Did anything transpire with that son of the man that you made the Rama?
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about that last time.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance. Well, last week when we was talking, we didn't get a chance to go in on it.
Yeah, I had emailed him, and he had me email me back, and I had emailed his son, and I sent his son my phone number and asked him if you know, told him if there's any way that he can call me, I would appreciate a phone call from him. And his son had sent me an email and said that he said he's gonna try to contact me like within a month's time or something like that. And I sent his son an email back asking him what type of calling card do I have to get in order to talk to him. And by him being over there in that Islamic area, I'm hoping that I can actually be able to contact him. And then by me living, being with Metro, I don't know if Metro PCS is gonna carry any kind of calling cards that goes over there into the Arabic world, you might as well say.
And you can always look it up though if they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I remember talking to him, man. I was so choked up, man.
Why?
Because you remember when I was telling you that night when all of us was out there sitting talking, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was dark and everything. You know, we were sitting in front of this river that went through the valley, and the only light out there was the moon. And that moonlight was like, it was bright as the sun in the daytime, but it was still dark. But it was like a silver type blue color, you know, and the clouds was out. It was just, and the you could smell the river, you know, and the river was the water was pure,
Right.
and you know, and it had a steady, beautiful wind going that night. It wasn't windy, but it was a steady wind going, and it was almost like a dream or vision or something, you know. And we all sat out there and we talked all night, and it was one of those nights that I never wanted to be over. You know, I said to myself, I'm like, you know, I could sit here forever. You know, this moment here, you know, I could do this forever. You know, the sun don't ever have to come out again. You know.
Right.
You know, and you sitting around all of these Taliban members, and they feeding you raw truth. You know, and they telling you how America is allowing you to know certain things in order to deceive you, to make you think, like, you know, people like Alex Jones, you know, they were saying all of these conspiracy theorists over there are being programmed by the American government, and they don't even know it. These are some very insecure people. They done learned something new, and they want to share with the world this truth. This is what's going to happen, and that's what's going to happen. And he was the one who told me, he said, and America uses those type of people to deceive the general public, so that when things do transpire, the general public is going to be looking for what these conspiracy people said and taught them, when the American government is going to do something absolutely totally different. You know, and when he dropped that on me, I'm like, whoa. I mean, that is the biggest forms of manipulation. You know, to give somebody some information to where they know that we know that these people are thinking that this is what we might be doing. And the only way that they're able to assume that this is what we're doing is because the information that we're giving them forces them to assume these things.
Right.
And so out of these assumptions comes a whole lot of glittering omissions and assertions and stuff about this is what's going to happen. And then we done already gave them the Bible to line up with these with these conspiracy theories. And when the Bible lines up with these conspiracy theories, it makes these conspiracy theories true, because these people think that the Bible is true. You know, this is what one of the African guys was telling me. He said the conspiracy theories are verified as being true by way of the Bible. I'm like, damn. He said your whole nation is being deceived. He said they're being deceived by information that they have been given to think is actually fact. He said, but this information is only to divert people from the reality of what's actually going to happen. So they give you a false reality and get you to believe it, and get the Bible to help back up that false reality. so that when you look for these things, because you're such a believer in the Bible and you believe these conspiracy theories because they go in harmony, so it seems, for what's going on in the social environment, which the American government is still in control of. And me and you talked about that not too long ago.
Yeah, we did.
And with all of that work and functioning, the government is going to do something completely outrageous to people, and it's going to happen so quick that they're not going to give a lot of people time, from what he was telling me, to even figure it out. Behold, I come as a thief in the night.
Yeah, that's the government, not God.
Absolutely, that's exactly what they told me. They told me in Rama, they said that, behold, I come as a thief in the night. They said that's not about God. That's about the American government.
Because Israelite, a lot of Israelites and Christians, they like, oh, see, that's the Lord doing it. The Lord, He using Satan for His purpose. I'm like, to me, it's like that. They just they using the Bible as a playbook to deceive people, and that's basically what they told you like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Bible prophecy to me is like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's all more like Bible manipulation.
That's all it is. Because that book lines up with assertions, it lines up with beliefs, it lines up with conspiracy theories, and once you find a book that lines up with all of that, you got a lot of nerves saying that book is true. When you're talking about theories, which are our point of views and what you call them, theoretical constructions, and all of those things, those theoretical constructions don't imply that those things are factual. Those things are not factual.
Right.
Those things are assertions. Those things are claims, and if those things are claims, and the reason why they call it assertion is because somebody is claiming something to be a fact.
Right.
And if it's a fact, you don't have to claim it. You just say, you state the fact and you leave it alone. You don't try to claim it in the sense to where you're trying to get someone to accept it. But I got a mind full of information and insight that night from just sitting there listening to all these beautiful people, man.
I can't wait till you have a conversation with them.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely record that.
Oh, please. Are you kidding? That's one of the reasons why I was asking his son, because I'm saying to myself, finally I can have Josh listen to somebody I actually talked to on the Middle East, and this man too, he was one of the Taliban members. Yep, he was real good friends with Edward David.
But how did him and Edward meet, if you know?
I don't know. Now that I never asked him, because see, these were some people. You remember when Edward David had told me that I need to smuggle you over the border into Pakistan, Rama, Pakistan. He said, because I want you to meet some people. And he said, and when you get there, I just want you to just sit there and listen to them. I just want you to take in some information. He said, because even if you take this information back with you and people don't accept it, he said, at least you know. And it trips me out, because I think about a lot of things that he told me. And it was almost like he was telling me things in a sense to where he kind of knew that he didn't have a whole lot of time left. I want you to take in this information, and if people don't accept it, at least you know about it. I mean, that sounds kind of
eerie.
Yeah, that sounds kind of eerie and final. to it. It's almost like he was giving me an inheritance of information or something like that.